It's now time for your favorite in-depth basketball show with the myths, the legends, Nard Dogg and Raindrops. Goulet!
Welcome to another edition of Full Court Press. How's it going? I'm Justin Raindrops Goulet, and on the Skype line, I've got the one and only Nard Dogg, David Bernardi. How's it going, my good friend?
It's going good, sir.
Excellent. I'm fantastic, thank you. Now, I think one of the big topics that we're going to discuss in this episode is Canada basketball and their performance at the Pan Am Games and, of course, at the FIBA tournament. Devastating loss to Venezuela. Do you want to chat about that now, or is there anything else you want to throw out there to start things off?
Oh, we can start off with Canada basketball.
Let's go for it. What do you think about their performance in the Pan Am Games? I know you were really high on how Anthony Bennett performed during the tournament.
Alright, so the Pan Am Games, the skill level was not the greatest, but we saw the likes of Anthony Bennett and Andrew Nicholson kill it. They actually tore it up, and they won gold medal.
Yeah, and it was a great learning experience for them. It just helped them grow as players, and it prepares them for this NBA season, and it makes them a little bit better when it comes to Team Canada basketball. How do you think they fared in the FIBA tournament?
Well, they started off in the two-toe Marchand Cup prior to the FIBA Americas, and they did really well. And then they go into the FIBA. They lose that first game against Argentina, which was, I don't know, it was kind of expected because we all know Argentina, they've always been great at basketball. Ginobili, Luis Scola, amongst others, and
Oh, yeah, totally. I remember that first game, Scola just killed it. And it was disappointing to see Canada lose, but then as a Toronto Raptors fan, it was like, oh, sweet. Luis Scola can still play.
35 points.
Unreal.
And what was it, 13 rebounds?
I think 13 or 14 rebounds in that game.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd be really excited if I was a Raptors fan. He's not going to put up 35 points a night, but...
Oh, just because you said that, he's gonna set a new scoring record. It's gonna happen. Watch out.
he'll be a decent replacement for Amir Johnson. I'll just leave it at that.
I think so. That's a good way to put it. I like Luis Scola. It sucks to see Amir go. We've discussed that in past episodes of FCP, but I think Luis Scola is a fitting replacement for Amir Johnson.
Yeah. And then back to Canada. After that loss to Argentina, they actually tore up their competition. They won, 7 or 8 straight games?
They dominated.
And then they played Venezuela in the finals, or the semifinals. And basically you win and you go to the Olympics. You qualify for the Olympics. And they lose, which was pretty shocking because of the way they are blowing out teams the whole tournament.
And they had, and they went and lost on a last-minute call, a call at the buzzer.
Yeah.
Terrible. It sucks to see. It was a tough moment to watch for Team Canada after performing so well in the entire tournament and all these players really coming into their own. Guys like Brady Heslip and even veterans like Aaron Dornkamp putting up some solid numbers and playing really well. It sucked to see them lose by, 1 point?
Yeah. And they won the consolation game against Mexico in Mexico for the third place.
It was a little bittersweet because now they have to go compete in another tournament next summer.
With a whole bunch of other countries.
Exactly, and there's no guarantee that they're going to qualify for the Olympics. They need to, just kill it in this next tournament to make their way into the Olympics.
And the thing is, for the next tournament, they could possibly have Tristan Thompson, Jamal Murray, and Tyler Ennis.
They could, so I think that would give them a big boost, that's for sure, especially Tristan Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson couldn't play because of his contract problems with the Cavaliers. Jamal Murray couldn't play because of his obligations to Kentucky, and Tyler Ennis was injured. So...
Yeah, kind of a tough blow, but hopefully Team Canada can get those guys on the roster, get them on the court, because I know they're going to be deadly. And hopefully secure a spot in the Olympics. I want to see Team Canada play in the Olympics.
And I think if they get to the Olympics, then they could possibly play for the gold against the States.
Now that would be something to see.
No disrespect to the other countries, but I just think the U.S. is just way too dominant.
Oh, that would be one hell of a matchup too. Canada versus the States. A little basketball gold medal action. It'd be great.
Who would have thunk that, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, that Canada would be this good?
Yeah, well, Canadian basketball, like we've said so many times before, it just keeps on growing and growing. It continues to rise because you see all these incredibly talented basketball players from Canada making it to the NBA, doing really well in Europe. It's awesome.
Yeah, we got a guy, Jamal Murray, from Kentucky. He's most likely going to be a top 10 pick in the draft next year, NBA draft.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'd love to see that, and that's not out of the question.
And you know the Raptors are going to have the Knicks pick in the first round in the lottery, so you never know. He could be a Raptor.
Fingers crossed. That would be something. We've already got Corey Joseph, so why not add another?
And speaking of a possible Canadian joining the Raptors, Anthony Bennett is close to getting his contract bought out by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, if that does happen, which I think is kind of crazy, if the T-Wolves, I'm pretty sure they watched some of Team Canada's matchups considering Bennett and Andrew Wiggins were on the roster and two of the top guys for Team Canada, you'd think that the T-Wolves would try to lock up Anthony Bennett because he's really improved. You look at him as a rookie, did not have, for a number one overall pick, very disappointing rookie season. But he's really turned things around. He's gotten himself into shape, and he was a good player, but now he's actually proving that to everyone.
He's not going to be a superstar. He's not going to be an all-star, but he could potentially be a great sixth man.
I think he could almost be.
And he could be a starter.
This is a slight stretch, and I'm not comparing these players to these other players, but it's almost like a modern Canadian Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. You could have Anthony Bennett serve as the Pippen to Andrew Wiggins' Michael Jordan. I think it's fair to say, right? If he stays with the T-Wolves.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much. I know it's Anthony Bennett's not. It's like I said. It's tough to compare those two players. You got Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan, two of the all-time greats.
And I don't just it's weird because don't you think they'd want Wiggins to have a familiar face on the team, like a fellow Canadian?
Yeah, keep him happy, keep him comfortable.
Yeah, it's just I don't get this whole move.
It's surprising, especially since Bennett played so well and since he's gotten himself into decent shape.
Now, if he does get bought out and becomes a free agent, do you think the Raptors should go after him?
Realistically, they probably wouldn't need to go after Anthony Bennett. From a fan point of view, I would really enjoy seeing Anthony Bennett in a Raptors uniform. Just the more Canadians, the merrier for the Toronto Raptors. But realistically, we probably don't need him specifically. It would be cool, and it wouldn't really be a negative. But he's not really a necessity when it comes to the Toronto Raptors roster. That's just my own opinion.
He can play small forward, and he's an undersized power forward. He'd be behind Scola and Patterson, and on small forward, we got DeMar Carroll and James Johnson. So he'd be third on both.
Which wouldn't really be good for his own development. As I said, it would be cool from a fan's perspective, just being both of us being Canadian and everything. It would be great to see two Canadians on the Raptors. But if that situation came to be and they didn't pick up Anthony Bennett, I wouldn't be too overly upset. Hopefully everything works out for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go on a team that's not really good. Maybe the Sixers. Maybe he can join Nick Stauskas, another Canadian.
Exactly. Keep those Canadian connections going. In Philadelphia, that's a good choice because the 76ers, I really like Philly. I've been a fan of the 76ers since I started watching basketball, thanks to Mr. Allen Iverson. But they aren't really going to be making any waves anytime soon.
They'll have their Jaleel Okafor. I don't know. They'll still be a lottery team.
Oh yeah, it's almost like they're always. It seems in the past couple of years, it's like their goal is to be rebuilding and to get a decent draft pick. They're like a better version of the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks actually want to do well, but they just can't put things together and they can't really do well. The 76ers sometimes I feel like they're deciding to not do well.
I just want to see Nick Stauskas get a lot of playing time.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll get that chance.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah, he seems like it. Mississauga boy. How could he not be?
And now back to another Canadian player, Tristan Thompson.
Of course, I love that we're discussing the NBA and there's so many Canadian names to drop. Because you look at 5-6 years ago, that wasn't the case. I love it. It makes me so happy. It's great.
It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. It's awesome. It's so great to see.
But it's just not a beautiful situation for Tristan Thompson and the Cavaliers.
No, it's not. It's a little shaky. It's like a mini battleground between Thompson and his team.
The thing is, Tristan Thompson, he's a good player, but he wants a max contract. And the Cavaliers don't want to give it to him at all.
Do you think he's worth the max contract?
No.
No.
Not one. I love his offensive rebounding. I'm not too impressed with his offensive game.
Yeah, he still has a lot of work that he needs to fan out. I don't think
he's in playoff run.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think he's a max player though, but I think they should really settle things, organize things, because he's a huge help to the Cavaliers. And plus, LeBron James loves Tristan Thompson.
Oh, he absolutely.
LeBron is a huge fan of Tristan Thompson. It's like when the best basketball player in the NBA, possibly on the planet right now, and we know how big of a fan I am of LeBron's. If he likes this kid, if he likes Tristan Thompson, if I was running the Cavs organization, I'd be like, hey, let's figure this stuff out.
Yeah, you don't want LeBron to leave again.
Yeah, we don't want LeBron to take his talents to Miami once again.
Or Toronto.
Well, if that was a possibility, then I'd say, you know what, screw it. Forget Tristan Thompson, bring LeBron to TO.
Yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to point out LeBron James. I watched Trainwreck the other day, the Amy Schumer and Bill Hader movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
It's actually really funny, and LeBron's in it. LeBron plays Bill Hader's best friend because Bill Hader's he's a sports doctor.
So he's got a lot of screen time?
He does have a lot of screen time. John Cena's in it as well. John Cena has some hilarious moments. He doesn't have as much screen time as LeBron. Or when you calculate it out, be all specific, they have the same amount of screen time, or LeBron has a little bit more, but LeBron plays Bill Hader's best friend, which is just a hilarious concept. It's awesome. He's really funny in it. And LeBron talks in a slightly higher pitched voice than his normal voice, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I was wondering about his acting. Is it actually good, or?
He's funny. Yeah, he's a funny guy. And he's playing himself, so it's not like you're expecting an Oscar-worthy performance. You're just expecting to watch LeBron James in a movie with Bill Hader and Amy Schumer, and that's what it is.
Maybe this is just a warm-up for Space Jam 2.
Could you imagine? He's a much better actor than Ronda Rousey, I'll say that. I hope she doesn't hear me say that, though.
Would you say he's a better actor than Michael Jordan?
Oh, man, I haven't seen Space Jam since I was like 12 years old, so it's been quite some time since I've seen that movie. It's tough to say. Maybe I should watch Space Jam later, because it has been a while.
Let's both watch Space Jam and critique it.
You know what? That's a good idea. The next episode will be FCP, Space Jam review. I'd totally be up to do that.
Oh, yeah. And back to Tristan Thompson. There's word that he's going to sign a 1-year qualifying offer, the Cavs, and then he'll be strictly a free agent to sign with any team.
Okay.
And there's talk about the Raptors possibly being in on it.
That would be amazing.
That
would be cool.
amazing?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to have Tristan Thompson, but I'm almost saying that because, like, as I was telling you before we started this episode of FCP, that on PS3 I've got Tristan Thompson on the Raptors in NBA 2K. So, yeah.
That's not real life.
No, it's not. It's not, and that's something that NBA Live has apparently shown. Did you see like the crazy facial avatar mashups that NBA Live did? They butchered so many players' faces.
Oh yeah, Rudy Gobert.
Oh, he
I
was
also
not
saw
happy.
I saw a screen cap of Mason Plumlee. It's awful.
Well, in the past few years, NBA 2K has proven to be the better video game series.
NBA what?
Oh, NBA, like the 2K series.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, after seeing all these glitches and just terrible faces, I think NBA Live should just give up.
Yeah, tap out.
Thing is, I played the demo for NBA Live, and the gameplay wasn't even that bad. It's just, I don't know, like, you get so much negative feedback right away, and the game hasn't even been released.
Yeah, it's kind
It's
of rough.
Not a good sign.
Weak sauce. But just flipping back to Tristan Thompson, what you said real quick, do you think that's a good move for him to sign that 1-year qualifying offer and then become a free agent and be free to do whatever he wants?
I think both sides, Tristan Thompson and Cavs, have no other choice but to do that.
Yeah, and then in that 1-year period, they would have time to discuss possible extensions and check anything else out that they could do to keep Tristan Thompson on the Cavs a little bit longer.
Like, I don't blame the Cavs for not wanting to pay him the max because he's a backup. He doesn't start.
That's true. Fair enough.
They
Yeah,
already
he's not a superstar.
They gave Kevin Love the max already this year. So,
And that makes sense because although it wasn't the best season with the Cavs for Kevin Love, his debut with Cleveland, he's still Kevin Love. He's more of a superstar than Tristan Thompson is. Although I wouldn't really consider Kevin Love a superstar, per se.
yeah, he didn't have the greatest first season with the Cavaliers.
No, he did not.
And the fact that they made the NBA Finals without him.
Yeah, it's well, that shows a lot to LeBron's ability too, because LeBron's
just not human.
yeah, exactly. Anybody that says otherwise is wrong. LeBron James, I don't even know how you can describe LeBron.
But like, you tell me, do I want Tristan Thompson on the Raptors? Oh, I'd love that, but it comes with a price, and I don't want to give him the max.
Exactly.
I don't think a lot of teams want to give him max. Maybe the Sixers or the Knicks or some other desperate team, but not when you're a playoff team. That's just crazy.
No, the Raptors wouldn't give Tristan Thompson the max. That wouldn't really make that much sense.
Stranger things have happened.
Oh yeah, we do all remember the Hedo Turkoglu situation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Hedo.
The thing is, the Raptors, DeMar DeRozan, he's going to be a free agent next offseason.
Yep.
And there's all this fan talk about Durant coming to the Raptors, which is a pipe dream.
Yeah, you don't think that's a legitimate possibility?
I don't know. We have to see what Drake can pull off. Because the only way the Raptors get Durant is through Drake.
Yeah, and Durant's going to come at a really hefty price, too.
So if you're a Raptors fan, you probably want the Thunder to do terribly this season and the Raptors to do really well so that Durant sees that the Raptors have a great future.
Well, you look at, as long as the Raptors make up for their first round sweep, playoff exit this past postseason, maybe it could happen, because you look at the Thunder, they didn't make the playoffs this year. Obviously Durant was out and Russell Westbrook had a lot of work ahead of him, but
I don't see Durant staying with the Thunder. I don't see it.
Where would you see him going other than Toronto?
There's the Lakers. There's possibly even the Knicks. There's talks of Melo trying to recruit him.
Oh, it could be. I could see him going to LA too, with Kobe Bryant's career coming to an end.
There's also his hometown, Washington, the Wizards, which would be a great situation for him.
Could you imagine that? John Wall, Beal,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Gortat.
That's John Wall, Beal, and Durant. That's NBA Finals right there.
No, John Wall and Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Just those two. Huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge.
And I do think that Durant, if he leaves the Thunder, he has to leave the West because he'd have a better chance of going to the finals in the East.
Yeah, it makes sense.
That's the same thing I said about LaMarcus Aldridge, about coming to the East, but he's on the Spurs, which is the Spurs.
Exactly. That's a totally different case. They're the Spurs.
now, if Aldridge signed with the Phoenix Suns, which was apparently came close, then that would have been a pretty dumb situation for him.
He wouldn't have gone. Yeah, he's not going to the finals with the Phoenix Suns, but with the Spurs this year, especially with all the other moves that they made.
Yeah. And Tim Duncan, who's like 50 and plays like he's 20.
Oh God, Tim Duncan. I don't want Tim Duncan to ever retire. I don't think he ever will.
I'm gonna feel so weird when Durant or when Garnett and Duncan retire.
Yeah, especially for you. Those were, you grew up watching them, right?
Oh yeah, and Garnett was my favorite player back then.
Well, and both in there. Well, Tim Duncan, always a Spur, which I love that he's stuck with the Spurs his entire career and is going to retire a San Antonio Spur. And then Kevin Garnett on the T-Wolves, both number 21. That was the number that I wore playing basketball.
You mentioned that a lot.
I like the number 21. I do mention that a lot, don't I?
Yes, you do. Now back to NBA talk.
NBA talk and not my personal preference in numbers. Go for it.
There's a Markieff Morris, he's just pretty pissed off that he's still a Phoenix Sun, because ever since his brother got traded to Detroit, he's just been a sad sack. Sad sack.
Well, that's unfortunate, but the thing is, you gotta sack up. You gotta sack up and just play the game, and even if you're not happy, that goes with anything in life. If you're not happy with your job or whatever, well, it's a different situation, but you're an NBA player, play to win.
Paid millions.
Yeah, you're getting paid millions, but play to win, because if you put it out that hustle and actually try to play and stop moping around, your team is going to have a chance to win.
Yeah. Right now, I don't see him. He'll probably just be benched. I think the Suns should just bench him.
Yeah, could be.
You can't have that negative atmosphere. And what if the Raptors traded for him?
Markieff Morris, do you think he'd be a good fit in Toronto?
Oh, of course. He'd be an awesome starting power forward.
Yeah.
But who do you trade? Oh, I'd trade Terrence
Ross. Yeah.
I'd probably, I don't know, Terrence Ross and Bebe from Markieff Morris.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the Suns are going to get to the point where they're just going to have to trade him for anything.
Could be. Like in semi-pro, they're going to trade him for a washing machine.
And thing is, he gets traded to Toronto, right?
Yeah.
That's 4 hours away from Detroit, where his brother's playing.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who knows? What's going to happen, especially around trade deadline this coming season? Anything's possible.
Now let's talk about the reigning NBA champions, Golden State Warriors.
Golden State Warriors, baby.
They recently offered Harrison Barnes a 4-year, $60 million contract extension.
I know you're a big fan of Harrison Barnes. What do you think of that? Is he worth that money?
Yep, I think he is. I think he's gonna turn into a really great player. Like he's getting there, but in a couple years, he's just gonna be amazing.
Just give him that time to grow and that time to learn, and then he's just gonna kill it. I think he's got the potential to be an all-star one of these days.
Oh, for sure. I think he should just take this offer and just stay with a championship contending team and just see where it goes, and maybe he'll join the Raptors someday.
Who knows? I know that's what you wanted when he was getting drafted into the league, but things worked out a little bit differently, eh?
So upset. Instead, we got Terrence Ross.
Yep, that is the year we got your favorite player of all time, Terrence Ross. Yeah.
Yeah. And now on to the Warriors again. They just signed, or they just hired Steve Nash as a consultant.
All right, on. Yeah, I was. They kind of. It wasn't. I wasn't shocked or anything, but it kind of took me a little bit by surprise that Steve Nash is part of the Warriors organization because he'd never had any involvement with Golden State throughout his playing career. I thought maybe he'd take up a job with the Lakers or Phoenix. But this is cool. So you've got Steve Kerr as your head coach, and then you've got Steve Nash helping run the show as well. It's amazing. It's good for them. Just adding, it's like that's a big addition to their already championship team.
Like Stephen Curry, like one of his idols growing up was Steve Nash, and now to have him on as a Warrior, it's great stuff.
It's fantastic. It's going to help them huge going forward, and I think Steve Nash is going to have a lot to teach the younger players because even though they won the championship, the Golden State Warriors are overall they're a pretty young team. Like Stephen Curry's just got a few years in the league, although he's one of the best players on the planet right now. Klay Thompson's a young guy. Harrison Barnes, who we just mentioned, is a young guy. Iguodala's been around the block for quite some time now. Iguodala is a veteran. So is Andrew Bogut, but.
Yeah, I loved Stephen Curry's Instagram post about Steve Nash being hired on by the Warriors. He said, finally the Warriors have a real coach. Taking a little funny jab at Steve Kerr.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's I'm a big fan of the Warriors, and I've always liked the Golden State Warriors. It wasn't, if anybody accuses me of being a bandwagoner because of Chef Curry, that whole fandom, I actually have enjoyed watching the Golden State Warriors play for quite some time now, going back to when Jay Rich was on the Warriors. I loved watching Jason Richardson with Golden State. He was awesome.
How about Spreewell choking his coach?
Oh, totally.
PJ Carlissimo.
Classic times. Classic Spree.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Steve Nash joining the Warriors, big move, and I think soon enough, once he's eligible, Steve Nash is going to enter the Hall of Fame. Now, this year, you brought this up before we started this episode. Who do you want to talk about? You're a big fan of one of this year's inductees.
Yeah, one of the biggest inductees in this Hall of Fame this year was the greatest finger-waving man in the history of professional sports by the name of Dikembe Mutombo. And it's honestly great to see him in the Hall of Fame. He had a great career, a long career. He's most notable for being on the team in the early 90s, the 8th place team that knocked off the Sean Kemp and Gary Payton Seattle Supersonics in the first round.
Yeah, pretty big, huge career for just one of the all-time greats. It's awesome to see Dikembe Mutombo in the Hall of Fame. I know you've done the finger wagging in games before. I've done the finger wagging in games before. Everybody who's played basketball and who's gotten a sweet block has pulled off the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag at least once in their playing days.
I think everyone has. Wasn't there a play where Michael Jordan dunked on Mutombo and he gave him the finger wave?
I believe so. We'll flip the script around a little bit. Had some fun with it.
We're kind of being gutty to Mutombo right now, but that's okay. I'm sure he blocked Jordan enough times.
I'm sure of that. Dikembe Mutombo, one of the all-time best. Just a big congrats on being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Well-deserved, well-earned that spot. Yeah, totally. Now, an absolute NBA legend. Now, not too long ago, there are two NBA legends that unfortunately passed away. And
two NBA giants.
Yeah, Darryl Dawkins and Chocolate Thunder. And, of course, Moses Malone.
Yeah. They were before our time, but a few years before our time, but they were two great giant big men in the NBA, and they'll be greatly missed. And earlier this year, we saw Anthony Mason pass away.
Yeah, that's true.
He was also young. He was 48. We saw Moses Malone, he was 60. And Dawkins, he was 58. They went too soon.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see whenever anyone goes young like that. But those are two guys, and well, three, because you include Mason in there as well, that their legacies will live on forever. And basketball fans are going to remember these guys. When you talk about NBA legends, you know...
When you talk about Darryl Dawkins, you remember his dunking. Like, you remember... Like, he was before Vince Carter, where we got... Before Julius Erving, we got actually, not before Julius Erving, but during that time, it wasn't Julius Erving. It was Dawkins, who was the one who was throwing down those big dead jams.
Yeah, and you got Chocolate Thunder doing his thing, and then you had Moses Malone just crashing the boards and just being an absolute beast. You know, before there was Shaq, there was Moses Malone.
Look up Moses Malone's stats during his playing career, and your jaw's gonna drop how great he was.
Unbelievable. Just pure domination.
It's a shame that him and Barkley didn't do things in Philly, like win a championship or anything, because they could have been wonderful.
Yeah, they could have. It's really something special. I saw a headline. I didn't read the full article, but something along the lines of Charles Barkley used to call Moses Malone Dad, which I thought was really sweet. Just showed how close they were.
Yeah, that's really special. And then we got Dawkins. He broke the backboard twice. He shattered it in his NBA career.
Yeah, which you don't see anymore these days. I think the last time I saw that happen was Shaq pulling that off.
I think after Shaq did that, they just made it a way so you can never do it again.
Yeah, let's get some reinforced backboards here. But two absolute amazing players, and I'm sure they're really good guys too. And Anthony Mason as well, passing away, as you said earlier this year. Just sad to see them go, but their legacies and their legends will live on forever.
Yeah, they'll be greatly missed.
Yep, that is for sure. So, like we do here on Full Court Press, of course, this episode would like to dedicate that to all three of those legends that have passed away: Anthony Mason, Darryl Dawkins, and Moses Malone.
Three phenomenal big men.
Yeah, great way to say it.
And now, on a positive note, let's give a shout out to Mr. Bruno Caboclo.
Yeah, a little bit lighter side of things. Bruno Caboclo, young blood. September 21st, we are recording this episode of Full Court Press, marks Bruno Caboclo's 20th birthday.
And it's Ice Belly's 20th birthday.
The big 2-0. That's crazy. Insane. 20 years old. Born in 1995. My God, he's making me feel old, and he's only 2 years younger than me.
95? That's crazy.
1995, September 21st, 95, Bruno Caboclo. The Brazilian Kevin Durant. I like Ice Belly better.
well, Bruno, you know every Raptors fan's wish this season is for you to win NBDL MVP.
Yeah, totally. Come into his own and just continue to grow as an NBA player so he could put up some big numbers once he suits up in that Raptors uniform.
Take the Raptors 905 to the championship.
Oh, damn right. You know it. Well, anything else that you want to throw out there? I think we've covered so much across the board. Is there anything else that you can think of?
Well, I think for now, that's about it.
Wrapping things up right here on Full Court Press. Final thoughts, plugs, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz?
You can follow me, the Nard Dogg, on Twitter at DavidBernardi7. And you can give me a look and a follow on Instagram at David__Bernardi.
Right on. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JustinGoulet21. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Full Court Press. Keep the basketball movement alive and strong. Any completely final words for this episode of Full Court Press, Nard Dogg?
Giddy up, because the NBA season's about to start. We got a month away.
Damn right, NBA season is oh so close. Until next time, this has been Full Court Press with Justin Raindrops Goulet.
And the Nard Dogg.
Thanks so much for tuning in. We will catch you next time.
Cheers.
You've just been hit with Full Court Press. Courtesy of the men, the myths, the legends, Nard Dogg and Raindrops. Glad.